I'm the itinerant voice actor Carl Bishop for Wise Brother Media, and today I'm talking to an actor of immense talent, not only an actor but a musician. You've known him as Bo Duke from the Dukes of Hazzard. It's Jonathan Schneider. How you doing, man?
Fine. Look at that. You got me my Jonathan Kent name in there too. I love it.
All right.
Hey,
Excellent.
I'm doing great. I'm honestly, truthfully living the dream right now.
I would say so, because you have a new record out, which you haven't done
Yes.
music, and a lot of people may not know that you had number ones on the charts in the 80s on, was it the country charts?
Country charts and adult contemporary. I don't even know if that's a designation anymore.
Right.
But yeah.
And right after you got off the
Lots of
show,
music.
yeah, right after you got off
Right
the show,
after
you went right into
was
music.
done. Yep, I went right into music. In fact, during Dukes of Hazzard, I was on Scotty Brothers, which was distributed through CBS.
Wow.
That's where I had "It's Now or Never" was the first album I did, and still that single "It's Now or Never"
Yeah.
still the top charting Elvis cover of all time.
That's great.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
And you were also a friend of Johnny Cash, and a really good friend,
Yes.
to the point that
Yes.
he allowed you to just do any song of his after he
Yeah.
died. He said that to you. And when you did this album, by the way, the new album is called Ruffled Skirts, and we'll talk more about it in a second, but one of the tunes on it is a Johnny Cash tune that you pulled out of a shoebox, and you said, wait a minute, now Johnny only said this to me that I could do his song, so how did you get permission?
Well, I called up. I sent a text. You know, we live in the text times.
Yeah.
I sent a text to John Carter, which is John and June's son, and great record producer in Nashville. And I didn't get a response. He didn't respond.
Uh-oh.
So I thought, I'm going to do this anyway. I'm going to beg forgiveness rather than ask permission.
There you go.
So I did that. And the record's out, and people are loving it, and a lot of people are loving this song. I call it 5 Feet High and Rising. I think John might have called it 2 Feet High and Rising. I'm not really sure. Jury's out. But last week, I text John about coming and doing a concert at the studio at the Barn. We have a venue at John Schneider Studios where we do concerts and plays and things.
Yeah.
And he responded right away. And it turns out he never got the text.
Oh,
He was,
jeez.
we dropped the phone in the water or whatever.
Yeah.
We do all have that moment where we don't get anything for a couple of hours, and we're tragically unconnected.
Uh-huh.
So I told him, I said, John, did you get my text? And he said, no. And I said, okay, well, here's the deal. I said, your dad told me just what I told you. Anytime I want to do any song of his, just pull it out of the box and do it. And I did 5 Feet High and Rising,
Wow.
and it's on the new record, and it's already been released.
That's
And
fantastic.
he said, my dad loved you to death. You do whatever you want with anything of his, because that is something he would have said to you. So John Carter honored that completely, and
That's great.
it's not surprising. That's the kind of person that John and June would have raised.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited
Now,
about it.
you're a really good singer. I listened back to the stuff that you did in the 80s, and I listened to the current album, the one we're talking about, and it's good stuff, man. What kind of...
Thank you, Carl.
Now, the musicians you have with you call it the Cajun Navy. Now, there's a story behind that, too.
Right.
And let's get back to that. Like, what prompted this record? What prompted you to get back into music after, 2.5 decades?
Well, the studio's at a place that used to be called Camp Singing Waters. It's on a river called the Tickfaw River in Holden, Louisiana. And what had happened was this flood, the second flood last year, which the one in March they called the 100-year flood, and so I thought we were going to be safe for the rest of my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a couple of months later, we had the 1,000-year flood, which was a good 4.5 feet deeper than the one in March. So it took out everything on the property, which is 60 acres, and everything in every building. And because it used to be a camp, there's a lot of buildings there. And it went right through the living room, right through the house, and destroyed everything in the house.
Oh, man.
So it was a devastating time. And my girlfriend said, when I had mentioned again that the place seemed so sad, she said, well, why don't you bring music back to Camp Singing Waters? And I said, well, how are we going to do that? She said, well, let's record a new record, and let's dedicate it to Camp Singing Waters. And then she said, let's record it in the room, in the living room. So all of this happened within 2 weeks of the flood, and we were actually finished with the cutting the tracks and finished with the record within a month of the flood.
Yeah.
So this is a piece of, it's a time capsule. It's something that had to be done, and it's almost as if it demanded that it be done.
And the feelings were
demanding it.
The feelings were very immediate and still there and very fresh. So I'm sure
they were, and we captured that. And when people hear the record, they say that. They say it sounds like it's happening now. It doesn't sound like. There's one live song on there. That's the FEMA song. Everybody expressing our true feelings about that organization and their ability to come in and take all the motel rooms so that the people who just lost their homes didn't have any place to stay.
Jeez.
But that's another story.
Indeed. Every Friday night is one of the tunes on the record. Now, I have to tell you that watching Dukes of Hazzard when I was 9 years old with my friend Paul, your smile would stop me in my tracks. And, after a while I realized that, you outed me to myself. You were my first TV crush, and I'm like, all right, that's it. I guess I'm gay.
That's fantastic.
I don't know if anyone's ever told you that before, but you outed me to myself.
I outed you to yourself.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Damn it, that sounds like a song. I got to write that song.
You can have it, man. First one's free, but just make sure.
Good. So see, it's right out of the shoebox, and then there we go.
There you go. Make sure you put me on drums, though.
Okay. Oh, you're a drummer, huh?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I play with myself quite a bit. Yeah, it's fun.
Wait a minute. What'd you say?
I said I play drums, mostly by myself.
Okay.
Because my band dissolved last year, and I've got to find a new one. So.
Oh no, you can't. You can't not have a band.
I know it's a real
do that
bummer.
Right away. If you've been listening to me on this radio tour, you have to do that right away.
You're right.
Listen to me. I had there was a hole. Sounds like a bad country song, but there was a hole in my heart where my guitar used to be.
Oh yeah.
So if you had a band for any length of time, and you're a drummer that's sitting there drumming. You got to do it. You got to put together a band.
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, you got to do it. If you have music in your soul, you can't ignore it.
That's right.
It's gonna come out, and you can't really truthfully be happy unless you're doing it, unless you're actively engaged in doing it. So one of these days you're going to have had your last cornflake. You just won't know it. And why take the risk of dying
unfulfilled,
not doing something you love?
Exactly. So how can we get this music? Because I know you have a website. Please tell us about it.
Yep, the website is johnschneiderofficial.com, and you can get ruffled skirts there. You can get your skirt ruffled there. You can also talk to you quickly about the movies we have there. I mean, Alicia and I make movies. We're truly living the dream. The movie studio is open for other people to rent it, but I happen to have met a woman who not only is beautiful and exciting and all that stuff, but she also she read a couple of my scripts. She is a producer. She used to run Robert Evans' company out in Los Angeles, so she knows of what she speaks. And she feels there is enough merit in the screenplays that I write that we should make them. And so far, we've made 5.
That's great.
So check out Anderson Bench. If you liked Fargo, or you like Natural Born Killers, or you are a hopeless romantic, which doesn't seem like it goes together, but it does in Anderson Bench. Check out Anderson Bench.
Yeah, if you've ever listened to Tom Waits, you know that horror, action, despair, and romance go together quite well.
There you go.
I want to talk about that film studio. You said, now, is it a place where developing filmmakers can rent the space, go there, and get resources to make their movies?
Yep, it's where people can come to make their movies. We don't finance anything but our own stuff, but if you've got your budget together and you've got your money together, we can help you spend it much better.
Got it.
Much more wisely. And you come there. It is a rural place. We do have 2 sound stages, so sets are in there, and sets can be built. We have several standing sets, like a bar and a restaurant and that kind of stuff. But if you want to make your films and you've got, you need a bamboo forest, or you need lakes or rivers or swamps or any of that beautiful stuff that we have in Louisiana, ours is your place because it's a completely controlled, contained environment.
That's fantastic.
Plus, you can do your DaVinci Resolve. You can do all your Avid Premiere or Final Cut editing. You can do anything you want post-production-wise at the studio, too.
That's great.
So
yeah.
it's really one-stop shopping.
Because it really is these days, like my actor friends are all making their own stuff. It's about making your own content and getting it out yourself because the old ways have been decimated by, it's a good thing and a bad thing. You don't have the gatekeepers you used to have, which is also a good thing because anyone can do the work and get judged. And, hey, if it's good, people will find it and love it. And if it's not, it just won't get any attention. So, and you're truly a man of the future. You were part of the old way of making records. You were part of the old system. And now, after that was decimated, you are doing it on your own. You're doing it at johnschneiderofficial.com where you're putting out your music. You've got everything that you do kind of lined up in that one space that people can go and check out. And, when you answered the phone, I said, hey, man, are you on a landline or a cell phone? You said, what's a landline? You're truly a man of the future, John. And I love the fact that you embraced it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Get your drums out. Get your band together. Put the band back together.
I'm going to do it, man. And thank you so much. This has been an incredibly fun conversation to have. And thank you again for chatting with me.
Well, I appreciate it. Good luck to you. And you've got my number. When you start doing music again, I want to hear it.
All right. I'll get it over to you.
I'll hold you to it.
All right, man.
All right.
Thanks a lot, John. Take care.
Take care.
Well, there you have it. Another edition of The Itinerant Voice Actor with me, Carl Bishop. My little podcast that no one listens to, but everyone should. Special thanks to Johnny and Robert at Wise Brother Media, celebrity booker Paul Adamo, my partner in crime David Levin at Brainstorm Inc., and the super talented Noel Honig at The Drawing Room NYC. More episodes of The Itinerant Voice Actor coming soon. Thanks for listening.